So, can you give like a really quick recap of all the different types? There are five different types in human design, and how would you classify those?
Sure. So in human design, there are five types: generator, manifesting generator, manifester, projector, and reflector. There are far more prevalent, there's a greater prevalence of generators and manifesting generators in the world. The next most prevalent are projectors, then manifestors, then reflectors. So you'll see that probably when you start to explore this tool, if you haven't, that distribution, amongst people that you meet. But how I would classify each is that generators and manifesting generators come from the same core. They are both really designed to work, to use their energy, doing things that they really love and that light them up, because they get their generation, that kind of like energy and fuel to do things by getting the reciprocity from whatever they're doing. So when they're working on something that they don't like, it actually drains their resources, versus when they're actually doing things that really light them up or interest them, they could keep going and going and going almost endlessly. So that's kind of a high level look at them. The difference between the two are that generators are typically more designed to go about work and go about their paths in a little bit more of a linear way. They are really great at becoming masters at a specific thing and working really hard at that and becoming so wonderful at that. Whereas manifesting generators have that capacity to become really excellent at what they do too, but they skip steps, they go backwards, they jump ahead. It's a little bit more of a nonlinear path, and it's a little bit more of a multidimensional, like they can kind of juggle multiple things at one time, and kind of either fuse them together to make something really unique, or just do a bunch of different things and do them all well. On the To kind of continue toward the other energy type, it is a manifester, and manifestors are really designed to work in bursts of energy and then pull back and just get creative and immerse in play. And so when they're using their energy, they're really here to be leaders. They're here to kind of step out and say what they think, not really ask other people's permission for it, and really kind of lead the way in terms of future oriented thinking and just being able to do super unique and creative things. They're kind of the ones who tend to be a little bit more directive. So they're not necessarily programmed to get their hands in the weeds of the creative process like the generators and manifesting generators, but more so can like see the bigger picture and kind of lead from that angle. Speaking of leaders, projectors are another similar type of leader, but they are called like a non-energy type. So just to explain, generators, manifestors are energy types, and projectors and reflectors are non-energy types. And all that means is that they don't necessarily get their energy from doing things. Their energy kind of comes more when they're in alignment in any given moment with something that's pulling to them or inviting them to do it. So they require a lot of rest, a lot of recharge. And then when they're in alignment with something they get invited to go do or something that they're pulled to do, they can endlessly source energy for that. But it's not just this never ending kind of churn the way that the other types have. And so just to make that a little bit more specific, projectors are kind of known as great advisors, great guidance, guides or counselors, because they know how to sort of pull back, see the way things can be done the most effectively, efficiently, powerfully, and be able to then help other people put that into action. Reflectors are like the most rare, the most unique type, and they are really more so very impressionable and influenced by the environments that they're in and the people that they're around, because they're very in tune with anyone, anything at any given moment. So sometimes it can cause a little bit of fog in terms of how they work, because they can kind of tap into all the different energy types in different phases of the moon cycle and different kind of environments. But at the end of the day, they're really designed here to be like amazing mirrors for other people, so they can see people in a really unique way, mirror that back, or just like sense the energy of a team or a room or a situation and be able to know exactly like what needs to be done or what needs to be corrected and fixed. So they're really kind of that more like oracle or like wise sage type, like traditionally, that like the community would look to and be like, what should we do? How do we fix this? So I remember when we had a discussion, not to put you on the spot, Tess, but I remember you had like an amazing way of sort of like breaking them down, those types down into like, I don't know, a workplace or just kind of like layman's terms. So I feel like that would be cool to maybe kind of put that in perspective with all five.
Totally. And I was even thinking of it while you were talking about it. And I don't want to take full credit because I believe I first got the concept from Erin Claire Jones. She's a big human design person. And I know that like corporations will actually hire her to come and restructure their business and the people in their positions based on their human design. So I got it primarily from her. But in essence, the generator is the like 9 to 5, they're sitting, they get their work on their desk that they have to do, they complete it, they put it into the system, more work comes, that's their job. The manifesting generator, which is me and you, we are kind of like one command higher than that, where we receive a project that needs to happen. We figure out exactly how that project is going to unfold. We create the blueprint, we can map it out, we can create the installation structure, and then we hand it off to the generator to execute. The projector is kind of like the overarching manager, or sometimes maybe even like a CEO level. They have that bigger, wider picture of what's happening and are able to delegate to the manifesting generator and then to the generator. The manifester is often going to be the person who created the business, who created the company. And so they are present, it's their idea, but they don't know all of the intricacies of everything that's going on behind the scenes to make it happen, because that's not what they're there for. And then the reflector is often like the right-hand man to the top of the company. They are the trend forecasters, and they are the ones that review, let's say, a really important legal document and make sure that everything is fleshed out and all of the verbiage is correct. They can project into the future and see how a certain thing is going to play out. But their strength is that 29-day cycle. So they really need to wait a full lunar cycle to make any serious decisions. And that can bode in the favor of the other energy types, because especially the manifesting generator and the generators, because we move so fast. So having that anchor at a higher level of command to slow us down and wait to see how things are unfolding will help a company overall. So it's a pretty cool system.
Yeah, I love the way you explain that. And I think what's cool to think about too is that these are not to like even box you into what type of thing you are or are not capable of doing. Cause I'm even thinking about like being a manifesting generator. I'm an entrepreneur, right? I started my own business, but I also feel in my body that like I cannot wait to get to the point and to the level where I can like hand off the CEO position to somebody else. Because what I like to do the most is not that, right? I can do it. I'm capable of it. It's kind of like that zone of excellence versus zone, or competence versus zone of genius. And so it's kind of just nice to know yourself, but that shouldn't stop you from going and maybe doing things that you feel called to do, but just knowing where your genius zone lies, I think is like where the magic is with this tool.
And everything is on a spectrum. So, and especially for manifesting generators, because we are that hybrid between a generator and a manifester, you can be, an MG can be more manifester quality or more generator quality. And over time, I've come to learn that I'm way more manifester quality. I don't have as much energy to constantly be churning out. Whereas a generator, somebody who is more on that spectrum, maybe would have more energy to be churning and less ideation. But I think that even for a projector, they could be on that spectrum as well. And then that's what leads us into all the extra add-ons of the different profiles and the energy centers. And it breaks down into like what type of manifestor you are, what what's the best way for you to be eating, or your best environment. Like it can get very, very specific, but then while that's helpful, and this is the point of the episode, is to go beyond that. We take that information, we digest it, and then we transform into what's most authentic.
Yeah, so well said.